Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Talk. I hope you're all doing well, keeping safe. And if you're new to the channel, then this is a platform for open minded individuals where we come together, have discussions, share ideas, share experiences, so that we can help each other and make a more positive influence on this world. So if you want to get involved, you can get in touch with us. All our information will be in the description. You can come on and share your experience, or we can have a discussion. So if you're new, please hit that subscribe button, like, share. It helps us reach more people and hopefully make more of an impact on this world. And we will be carrying on from our last video we did on the education system. If you haven't already watched that, the link of the video will be in the description. So we did a part one with Triv. Welcome, bro. Thanks for joining me. And
Always a pleasure.
where we spoke about positives, for what the positives we took from our education systems, and then we started looking at things we wished or we were taught in school, or something we think could improve our education system. So continuing from that, Trev, what else did you from your experience, what else did you pick up? What did you think that we can improve on, or can be taught better in school?
I think something else that needs to be addressed is, I think you and I share this in common, and quite a few people that I've spoken to throughout my life believe this. The content of it is just not good enough. Like, in terms of what we're forced to study, as a South African kid, looking at what's going on in South Africa right now, I don't care about what happened in concentration camps in Germany. That's not me saying that I'm not empathetic towards what happened to those people. It is ridiculous. However, there's this concept that charity starts at home, and in order for us to care about what happened to other people, we need to fix what happened in our own homes first before
Yeah.
we can start worrying about outside people. I personally don't feel that that in the South African schooling system, we should be spending so much of time learning about world history. I think we should be spending a lot more time focusing on South Africa's past, about what happened from both sides. As we mentioned in part one, it's important to understand the history of all of the sides in South Africa that brought us together to the point that we find ourselves at now. The indigenous people of the land, the
Yeah.
people that colonized the land, the people that were brought in as indentured laborers to the land, the people that found the land. You can't find something that people already found. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. So yeah, I think content of what we're teaching is really important. We spend time in biology focusing uh, on what a locust's penis is called.
Is that
Why?
seriously what your thought is?
Why? Why?
What
Why
is
is
it
that?
called?
I'm taking the piss. We don't actually
It's
learn
okay.
the name of a locust penis. My question to you is: biology is important. History is important. Don't you think we'd be better off in a biology class learning about viruses? We find ourselves in a situation now, worldwide, facing a pandemic. Wouldn't we be better off learning about how these things work, how viruses work, how we can stop viruses from spreading, how they affect our immune systems, how we can boost our immune system? That's biology. That is also biology. Well, aren't we better off learning things that we can apply in our
That's
day-to-day lives?
You're 100%. I agree with that. It's the relevant. It's the practicality, right? We're not taught in a practical way where we can actually apply it in our daily lives. Like, why aren't we taught how to do our taxes? I'm not saying you need to learn it in your primary school, but when you're in your secondary school, this is what everyone needs to do it and apply it in their daily lives. So why is that? I don't know if there's any people or any viewers out there working in the education sector that can maybe give us a broader understanding of why we're taught this way and not more in a practical sense. I've done, like, we've done our 2 videos on mental health. We're not taught that in school either. We're not taught stuff that will actually help us in our daily lives. Not everyone comes from a loving, caring family, or an educated family. So you go to school and you spend most of your time in school. That's where you should be taught these things as well, not just at home. So why aren't we taught about mental health or taxes or any other um, areas of life that will benefit us in a practical way? So that point that you made is so good, and I think it's so overlooked in our education system. That I don't know if things have changed, and like I said in part one, that countries like Finland, Sweden, they are adapting a more progressive way of teaching. But I don't think these things are still these things are the I mean, the education system is still outdated in a lot of countries. I'm pretty sure of that. I've done the research. It's still the same. They have changed aspects of it.
You
uh,
know, there's something else. So mental health, and as you mentioned, we've done a couple of videos on that, and I think that there'll be a couple of videos in the future on that
yep.
as well.
Yep.
But again, to come back to biology, your physical well-being is also part of that.
Yep.
It took me to reach 23, 24 years old
Yeah.
before I knew what high fructose corn syrup was. Meanwhile, in the 23 years building up to that moment, I was drinking Coke like it was going out of fashion.
Yeah.
um why is that's something that will move us forward. The healthier we are, that will move us forward. That's biology. You teach us about glucose, you teach us about fructose. Why not, like you said, take that and teach it to us in a constructive environment, in a way that we can analyze what we're putting into our bodies, instead of just learning this is glucose, this is fructose. I just think there's much more constructive ways.
Another thing I think most of us struggle with. I didn't struggle as much because I don't know, from a young age I already kind of knew what I wanted to do for some weird reason, even without learning the subject. Um, but like career options, right? What you want to do in life later on. I don't think school really prepares you for that in many ways. So I knew I wanted to become an accountant from a young age, and I even before I learned accounting. But there are many people who don't know what they're gonna do with their lives because your school hasn't allowed you to follow or to follow your passion. So then you've been forced into studying like these linear subjects that now you have to choose from, and you're only stuck with that. So for many people, they're going to pick one of the few careers that are given to you, but that's not really necessarily your passion. That's why there's so many people stuck in jobs which they don't enjoy, and they come home and they're stressed and they're unhappy, and then they take it out on other people. If you're passionate about something, you're going to put 110% into it. But our schooling system doesn't allow us to follow our passion, to go further down the line of what we really want to do and not what is given to us. So, I mentioned, I think in part one, we're only given limited options to follow. And it's very streamlined the way it is. It's there's no room for creativity. So I think for me, going further in your career, like choosing a career path, is very difficult because you have such limited options. And I think that needs to be changed or looked at.
So a little bit on that, I was very lucky to do what was called a it was a form of internship, accelerated development program. That's the exact term. At a company in Cape Town, where I spent 18 months floating through the different divisions of that company. So I was exposed to a lot of different fields during that time. And I want to say this very slowly and very loudly, especially for the Indian community and for Indian parents putting pressure on your kids to be doctors, lawyers, accountants. Um, Please understand you can buy a GTI even if you become a qualified auto electrician. I don't know who needs to hear that, but I think that this message needs to move to people. There are not five professions in this world. If you are not a doctor or a lawyer or a chartered accountant, you can still lead a successful, happy life. To the kids that, I'm going to go to the Indian community because it's what I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
To the kids that love putting subwoofers into the back of your cars, you can make a career out of that. You can be a sound engineer. You don't need to study biology, but there's nobody going to the schools explaining this to kids. I worked in recruitment at my previous company, and we used to run searches basically for kids with matrics who could after, I think it's a 3-year program. You could become a qualified diesel mechanic, you could become a qualified auto electrician, you could become different types of artisans. You could earn good money doing that. You can work, and from there, once you're a qualified artisan, you can then study further and become an engineer. You can start off filling diesel into a truck and become a lead engineer for Mercedes Benz. That is a route that you can follow. It's just that we're not aware of that. When I worked with another colleague of mine. I know he listens to the show. Shout out Adrian for the positive
Yep.
comments.
Thanks for the support, Adrian.
Yeah, him and I worked on these recruitment programs to get kids into these apprenticeships, and a lot of them didn't even know that these were routes that they could follow. They were just in limbo after getting matric, and I think a lot more needs to be done. Don't just have UCT and Stellenbosch and Rhodes University come and stand at the front of
Just for
your
viewers who are
hall
not
during
familiar, those are the three biggest universities
big
in
universities.
South
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Rael.
No worries.
It's not just about them coming and standing in the front of your hall and saying, "Okay, these are the requirements for you to get into our LLB program. These are the requirements for you to get into our engineering school." There are other options, and it's important for parents to be supportive of these other options. Inform yourself. Don't just say to your child, "Yeah, you can do whatever you want to do." We spoke about this in the fear culture video. It's important. It's okay to take risks, but it's even better to take educated risks. So if you love subwoofers, if you love graphic designs on cars, if flames going up the side of the car is something that gets your juices flowing, become a graphic designer. Find out how you can become a graphic designer. Take I think it's TD, if it's still called TD in schools. Take that. Don't take biology. Parents, let your kids do what they're going to be passionate about, and I promise you, you have a hell of a lot better chance of having your kid want to go to school if they're enjoying what they're doing.
Obviously, the schools need to provide the opportunity, and that's why we need to go back, that the education system needs to provide these kids the opportunity to learn what they're passionate about, right? I have a very I really like this quote I found from, of course, Albert Einstein, who, funny enough, was a dropout from school, right? And
You'll never amount to anything.
Yeah, well, we all know how that ended up. So he said everybody is a genius, right? But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So what this quote, this is such a brilliant and funny quote, because like we mentioned, every kid, every individual is different. And if you're forcing a kid to, like Triv said, to be an accountant or be an engineer, but his passion is, let's say, painting, obviously he or she is not going to excel in becoming that profession they've been forced into. I do have this vision, or not vision, this plan or dream in the future to build schools. And if everything goes well and I'm able to do that, I would love to start schools in places where they're most needed, where we can introduce an education system that allows all these things to help our next future generation not go through the systems we went through and have a better opportunity to following their dreams and passion, and become the best they can at their fields because they actually love doing what they're doing and not being forced to.
I want to end on one last thing, and I think um, I'd be doing them a massive injustice if I don't bring it up. The
Hmm.
backbone of the education system are our teachers,
Of course.
and I think it's a profession, especially in South Africa, but across the world, that is not looked after.
Yep.
Um, I think it's one of the lowest paying jobs in public schools. I know
It's
in South Africa
insane.
that's factual.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know
even
what
in
it's like in other
Kenya.
countries.
No, Kenya
Yeah.
is the same.
Um, and considering the fact that we harp on about this, about the youth are our future, kids are our future, uh, how is it that we are all aware of how important the next generation are, yet we're not investing in the very people that are shaping the next generation?
That's a great
Um, we're
point. Great point.
we're willing to make social media influencers rich,
But
but we're
not.
not willing
Yeah.
to make teachers rich. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I want to be a millionaire for being a teacher, but I do think that a lot of people who have a passion for teaching, a lot of people who would have a very positive impact on our youth are turned away from the field because they wouldn't be able to live the sort of life that they would like to live.
Yeah.
And I think we're missing a massive trick. I know in China, my experiences here as an educator, as a teacher, has been very positive in terms of the respect that the role has. Is miles different to what it is in South Africa. We've all seen the stories recently about just kids being rude to teachers, being physically abusing teachers, verbally abusing teachers. That respect factor is not there, and the respect factor is not there because society doesn't see it as a job that deems respect as worthy. So if we as society don't see that, the kids that attend these schools, they pick up on that and they behave in the same way. So
It's
yeah, I think
also, can I just like a
yeah,
little bit on the flip side, right? The teachers, like you mentioned, because they're not paid well, right? Then, like, if you're not valued at your job, you're not going to be happy at it. So the reason sometimes the relationship between kids and teachers is not the greatest is also because the teachers are not as compassionate,
yeah,
or they're not happy in their jobs, and they remove their frustration on the kids. So your
yeah,
point there is so great because it works in so many ways, and it can have so many advantages and positive impacts if teachers were respected and paid, or like in society they were regarded as such a valuable as valuable members, because they are. So I think that's another reason why, like, that the relationship between kids and teachers isn't the greatest, because the teachers themselves are not motivated to give all they can to, and because
yeah,
they're not
100%.
valued. So I think that's a great way of ending this two-part education system talk. I think it's the first topic we've taken two parts, and I think we can go on for hours on this because there
Yeah,
is so much to dissect. There's so much to talk about, and I hope everyone, sorry, our viewers out there have, I don't know, maybe learned something from our experiences, or if they have something to share, then please, like I said, all our information will be in the description. Just reach out to us, and we can carry this discussion further. We're more than willing to help in any way, shape, or form to help improve our education systems, so that they can get to a place where we're producing this really all-rounded individuals who have creativity, passion, empathy, all the things that we speak about on this channel. And it all starts from school. So thank you, Triv, for joining me as always.
Pleasure.
Um,
Love this topic.
yeah, me too. And I'm sure we might have another one soon. Hopefully, get another guest on, and then we can have more discussions from people from different experiences. Maybe someone from Finland or Sweden can come on, and
Yeah, that would be
they can
fantastic.
talk about how good their education system is, and we need to follow that route, or anywhere else in the world that they believe they love or they understand the value of their education system. So thank you so much for watching and joining us. And please, again, like, share, subscribe. That's how we grow as a community. That's how we get this message to as many people as possible and hopefully get them involved, because we're all trying to make a difference here, a positive one, and try and make everyone's life a little bit better if we can. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, watch out for our next videos, which will be coming out soon. Take care, everyone, and have a great day.